if you think about it, if you just walk down the stairs and you break your leg, I don't think I'd be quite, thrilled for life. There is another young man that has osteogenesis imperfecta. Do you remember the little young man who was the president?
Kid president?
What's it? Kid president.
What?
He also has osteogenesis imperfecta. So you see sometimes you have a cast on. Nobody's ever seen Kid President? I'm gonna have to get a video. So osteogenesis imperfecta, they have brittle bones, and this is a child with osteogenesis imperfecta. As you can see, even though he's trying to be a mummy here, he has had limbs in his arms, legs broken, and it could be from a minor injury. So very fragile cases. So it not only affects the bones, it affects the collagen. So if you look at the limbs on this calf, what do we call this? What's it called? Yes, plantigrade stance. And the reason is excessive joint laxity. So all the joints are extremely lax, and so they can easily be in that stance. So this is not normal for a cow to be in this position. Also, they will have the thin dentin in their teeth, and the sclera of their eye will be thin as well. And the reason is because type 1 collagen is the basis for those areas. So if you have a thin dentin, what's another thing you could see with these animals? Yes, I have a picture. Broken teeth. Yeah, easily fractured incisors. Yes, Brandon.
You say it says thin sclera.
How would I know that? That'd be hard to tell. Yeah. I would probably even more see it microscopically than, even on necropsy, we're not looking at the sclera that closely in terms of thickness. We may cut into the eye, but typically when we even on necropsy, we put them in a fixative to make them solid, and then when you look at it, then you can really determine how the thickness of each layer. So that's not something you would see grossly. And this is looking at the tendons, one being normal, right here, and this other one being thin and slightly longer. So this is showing you the bony calluses. So this is an animal feline with osteogenesis imperfecta, post-parturition, and you have these bony proliferations haphazardly arranged within the ribs. So what happens during parturition? Oh, I'm sorry, you have a question?
Yeah, so is the one on the left, is that normal that we're just comparing to?
Yes, so this is normal, and this is abnormal. So what happens during parturition that could cause callus formation, especially in the ribs? Or just even pre-parturition? Contraction! Who's ever had a child in here? Anyone? No babies in this class?
We don't have time for those.
I'll hear you on that. Anywho, when you have contraction, even pre-parturition, you're going to get a fracture, because again, they easily fracture, and then a callus develops secondary. Especially in the ribs, as they're going through the birth canal, sometimes that can happen as well. And we looked at the fracture dentin. Let's see what time we have. Okay. Limb, yes, question.
I mean, this is going pretty far back, but before you go to the next section. So the difference between hyperpetrosis and porcine congenital hyperostosis? Hyperostosis.
Okay. The difference, say it again?
The difference between hyperpetrosis.
Osteopetrosis?
Yeah.
Osteopetrosis.
And porcine congenital hyperostosis.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if you see them, like one may have like when you see like thickened bone around little bone marrow, how can you tell the difference like if the bone marrow is like actually normal and the bone is just thickened versus if the bone marrow has actually decreased in size.
A lot of those kind of diseases is going to be based on your experience in terms of marrow, what you expect to see in the size of a marrow space. So, I mean, I don't know how many people have done a necropsy. It would be hard at your level to know the difference just looking at it. But for me, I can very easily tell the difference between when there is a narrow marrow space and excessive bone proliferation versus a normal and periosteal formation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all going to be, some people may measure them and have, standards for each thing, but after you see it a number of times, you cut through a bone, you're like, okay, that space is narrowed, or even if I say they have bone marrow issues, there's less marrow activity. That some comes with kind of training your eye for what is normal and what is abnormal. And again, osteopetrosis, even though we see it in pigs, you can tell the difference by looking at the gross presentation. Any other questions? Okay. I still think that's a horrible movie. Now the movie before that, Emlan Sharma, whatever his name was. What was that? You didn't like that one either? About the people in the village?
That was awesome.
Okay, see, we all have different. All right, let's talk about limb dysplasia. And these are all terms of which you should know the definition. First one is syndactyly, complete or partial fusion of a functional digit. So which is the normal? Where's Jonathan? I lost. Did Jonathan leave me? Jagan.
His face will turn red when you call on him, so it should light up back there.
Okay.
Jonathan, I love you, dear. He's in the back. He had to live next to me. Did you? Oh, sorry.
Okay. Let's go back to toes and which one is normal and which one's abnormal?
The bottom one is normal.
Okay, good. We do know what our bovine digits look like. So we have complete or partial fusion of a functional digit, and so you basically have one digit form. So that's syndactyly. The next one is very creepy in my mind. It's polydactyly. And as you see, multiple kind of toes just flying here and there. One over here, one over there. What happened? That's your dog? Oh, cool. That's cute. This is just creepy. I'm sorry. I don't know, maybe legs are attached here. So this is called polydactyly, and yes, dogs can have that. And cats. Yeah. And so this is the back. It looks like somebody's hand coming and grabbing you. It's just, yeah, it's got 1, 2, 3, 5 fingers, kind of. So that's polydactyly. Hemimelia. That's when we have half formation of a limb, so this is normal. And we just kind of didn't finish growing, and we lost the bottom part of this frog. Okay? So, abnormalities of growth and development. We talked about skeletal dysplasias, such as brachygnathia, prognathia, kyphoschisis, and platoschisis. Does everyone understand all those? Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
On the syndactyly, which one was the abnormal one?
The top one. Fusion. That's I'll make sure, yeah, the bovine. Yeah. So remember in normal they have a clawed digit?
So that's just one?
One. Yeah, it kind of looks like you're missing half of the
Yeah.
picture, right? Yeah. So this is actually just one limb on one hoof.
I have a question too. Does it have to be from like a fusion into one, or can it be like 5 limbs and just like 2 of them are fused?
Look like this?
Yeah.
Well, it can do that if it is, I'm trying to think what animal would have multiple digits. I mean, like in a canine, it could fuse. So long as you have 2 fusing as one, that's called syndactyly. Now you can have multiple syndactyly dactyli, what the more, on one digit, sure, yeah. I've seen it in people where they have fusion of fingers, so, yes.
What is it when there's no formation of a line?
No formation of the Amelia. You find that fascinating? Oh, great. Whatever makes you. See, I like weird stuff. Not too many people have that same mindset. Amelia. What was that? Do we all understand the definitions? Chyloschisis, palatoschisis, chondrodystrophia fetalis. Remember, we talked about the shortened, stumpy legs, spider lamb disease. So, can anybody remember the breeds that are associated? African Hampshire, yes, yes, and they have what sort of presentation do they have? Roman nose. What else? Valgus, not me. Kyphosis, very good, very good. So y'all don't have to study after we do talk about it in class. Then we talk about disorders of bone resorption, osteopetrosis, and what is the defect? Is it osteoblastic or osteoclastic? Osteoclastic, that means it's not reabsorbing bone, right? And then we talked about congenital hyperostosis. What do we have with that? Periosteal bony proliferation, very good. Osteochondromatosis, as I said, it's not, we don't talk too much about that. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Osteogenesis imperfecta, what is the defect? Brittle bones due to defect in what? Osteopenia, type 1 collagen, right? So make sure you remember that. And we talked about the weird limbs with limb dysplasia, such as syndactyly, polydactyly, hemimelia, amelia, and that's it. Any questions? Oops, I went backwards. Oh, here's a question. Name the disease. It's not a quiz, just right. Chondrodystrophia fetalis. Yes.
Individuals with osteogenesis imperfecta, do they also commonly present with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome?
Ehlers-Danlos? So Ehlers-Danlos is also a collagen defect where you have that stretchy skin. I've never seen the two together, but it doesn't mean it's not possible. But it's not commonly seen together. Yes. What is Ms. Cooper?
Yeah, this may be off topic, but scleroderma, have you ever seen a lot of scleroderma in